Hey guys, Richard Scatlin out here at Remountain Horsemanship in Siler City. It's a beautiful sunny day. The rain stopped and the sun is out, so it's just been a beautiful past couple of days. But I wanted to make a video on hobbling. Someone asked me, I believe it was on Facebook, on how I would go about hobbling a horse. I cover it in my book, available at remountainhorsemanship.com. And basically what I cover in the book is leading by the leg, but that's definitely a step to hobbling your horse. A lot of times, people say, well, why would I want to hobble my horse? I don't see any valid reason to hobble my horse. Well, there's a lot of good reasons in my mind. One is causing that horse to yield from pressure. Very simply, if they're ever caught in wire, if your horse is in wire or hot wire, if they get caught in that wire, they're not going to fight it. They're going to kind of stand still and kind of wait to be rescued. If I'm out in the open and I have nowhere to tie my horse or put my horse or no trailer to load my horse into, then I can hobble my horse and he'll be there when I get back. A lot of people say, well, I ground tie my horse. Well, ground tying is fantastic. That's a great skill. And yeah, go ahead and do that. But ground tying doesn't always work. And if it works 9.5 times out of 10, well, that half time when you come back, your horse might be gone. So hobbling's a way to secure your horse for when you get back. Another thing about hobbling is it teaches your horse to stand balanced. A lot of horses, they get very nervous, very unconfident when they're off balance. So it teaches them to stand balanced. And I'll kind of show you some different ways that I can get a horse used to wearing hobbles. The first thing that I'm going to do before I hobble, and there's guys that hobble horses for the first time before they put a saddle on them or before they do much handling on them. They just slap some hobbles on them any way they can. They let the horse kind of work it out, kind of fight it out, and then they go from there. But there's better ways to set your horse up for that than just kind of throwing a set of hobbles on them and letting them sink or swim. So first thing, just make sure your horse is confident with things around their legs. All right, old Fluffy here, he's like, all right, he's never been hobbled. This will be his first time being hobbled. So just kind of check your horse out, make sure they're fine with this. Some things to help prepare your horse for hobbling is make sure that when you're picking their feet, that you can hold their feet, that you can pick their feet safely and sanely, and the horse isn't wigging out and fighting your foot. So make sure you can, pick up all 4 feet, and they're doing just fine, picking up all 4 feet. You just work your way around, make sure you can pick them all up. So, working on that. Make sure they can handle ropes around their legs, all their legs. Okay, just checking out their confidence level. The next thing that I might do is I might just take this lead rope, bring it down around his leg, and I'm not going to pull on the halter, but I might put some pressure on that foot. And anytime I get a weight change, I'm going to just kind of release that pressure until he kind of picks that foot up, and maybe I can set that foot out. Okay, if I can't set that foot out, then I'll just play with, does he have enough confidence with me and ropes, and does he understand pressure enough that he just kind of gives me that foot. He'll square himself up here in a second. And I'll do this also on all 4 feet. Does he know what pressure is? Does he know what feel is? Can he follow that feel? Can I add a little bit more pressure to that right front and have him bring his other front over? Not pulling on the halter between my right hand and the halter knot. I'm just trying to talk to that foot. Now I'm going to add a little bit more pressure, ask him to bring that foot out like that. Okay? So that's how you can kind of start leading by the foot. Another way that you can lead by the foot, and I do cover it in my book, is I get a longer rope. You can, like this one, it's about 20 feet long. It has a ring on the end, and it's pretty thick. It's a pretty fat rope. You can use a lariat rope. You can use another long lead rope, just something that's a little bit longer than what you would normally use, just in case you need to kind of get out of the way if the horse starts reacting a little bit more. And long enough, because we're going to ask him to kind of go out on a circle while we're holding on to this leg rope. One thing that I do when I put this rope over my horse's foot is I'm going to do so there's my circle, I'm going to do a figure 8, and I'm going to put the 2 loops over his foot. That way it just kind of spreads the pressure out a little bit more and it's not really digging into his foot and maybe causing him some discomfort or some harm maybe. For his foot, make sure my foot's nowhere near the coils, so I just kind of throw everything out there. Put one loop around his foot, and then I'll do that figure 8 so that he has 2 loops around his foot. So now I have a rope attached to the halter and I have a rope attached to his leg. If the ship hits the sand, and I would definitely do this for the first time in a confined area, whether it be in a round pen or a small paddock, something to where if they do get loose, they're not going to just be tearing around with a bunch of ropes dangling behind them, and that can just make the problem much worse. So what I'm going to do here, and if you're not comfortable holding coils in your hands, or you're afraid of your hand getting caught into a coil, just take the tail of that long rope and just kind of pitch it out. So now I'm going to kind of ask him off, kind of have him walk around me. And his first job right now is just to kind of pack this rope. I just want him to kind of move out a little bit and just feel this rope on his leg. He's like, yep, I got it. This ain't nothing. If they have problems with this, they just keep letting them pack it around. If they really get boogered off and they start panicking, then I still have the rope attached to his head, and I can kind of say, hey, why don't you face me a little bit, stop that forward motion, come down, relax, and then we'll send you back on. Once he's okay with packing that rope around, then what I'm going to do is while he's moving, and every time that front foot starts to leave the ground, I'm going to add a little bit of pressure, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of pressure. And I'm going to give it. I'm just going to take and give, take and give, take and give. What's going to happen pretty soon is you're going to see that left front come in towards me like that, like that, like that. So that left front started coming in towards me, towards the middle of the circle, and then he swung his butt out. Because his other 3 feet aren't going to outrun that front foot that has a rope on. That make sense? Ask him back off. Get my rope situated here. Ask him back off. As he's moving, pick up, set down, pick up, set down, pick up, set down, pick up, set down. Attaboy, that's right. Now when he's facing me, what I'm going to do, and he's not really resisting, he's just like, what's on my foot? I'm going to add pressure to the white rope, and I'm going to lead him up. So I'm going to say, hey, can I lead you? Can I literally lead you by your foot? There, just like that. And I'll do that on both front feet. I'll even do it to the hind feet, but if you're, I guess in hobbling, it's mainly the front feet. You can do a 3-foot hobble, but I do get all my horses leading by all 4 feet. So I'll go around and I'll do that on all 4 feet. So now I've got the rope around his hind foot, and I'll send him off just the same. If you're not comfortable or confident holding 2 ropes and trying to manage a horse in 2 ropes, we can have someone else lead the horse, and someone else can kind of be back here staying safe out of the kick zone, and you can work the rope and someone else can work the lead rope attached to his head. That's all totally fine. His only job right now is to pack this around. So he's walking, he's doing good, being a champ. Every time that foot leaves the ground, I'll add a little bit of pressure, add a little bit of pressure, add a little bit of pressure. And right here, I don't really care where he goes or what he does. I want him to mainly stop. Feel that pressure. Feel me controlling that foot, and just kind of stop like that. Find a spot to stop. You can take leading by the hind foot as far as you want. You can teach them to lead backwards by that foot. You can teach them to lead forward by that hind foot also. You can take it as far as you want, but for right now, my big thing that I'm looking for is just being confident with that, kind of not fighting it. Maybe if I ask him to bring that foot forward like that, he'll keep it there for me. Maybe ask him to bring that hind foot up just a little bit more underneath him, and then maybe I can set it down right there.